3 days after first contact, the Vrex had set up a temporary base near Seoul. Humans and aliens watched each other carefully, like two animals meeting in the wild for the first time. Commander Kron stood by the window of his quarters, watching humans go about their day outside. A group of children played soccer in the rain, laughing as they splashed through puddles. Nearby, construction workers built a new building, working despite the downpour. They ignore the water falling from the sky, Kron said to Sub-Commander Vex, who stood behind him. On most worlds, acid rain would burn flesh. Their world is strange, Vex agreed. Their bodies are soft, yet they survive here. Kron turned from the window. I do not believe they are as strong as we are. They must have technology that helps them. On the other side of the city, Captain Dae-sung sat with his team in a secure meeting room. Officer Hannah showed images of Vrexia on a large screen. The alien world was dark red with swirling storm clouds and jagged mountains. Their gravity is 1.2 times Earth's, Dr. Ji-hai explained. She was small but had sharp eyes that missed nothing. Their atmosphere has less oxygen but more sulfur. Their average temperature is higher than ours. Engineer Sung-ho adjusted his glasses. They evolved as apex predators. 4 arms, tough skin, and powerful muscles. And they're proud of it, Sergeant Taiwan added. The soldier was built like a tree trunk, with hands that could crush stones. I've been watching them. They move like they expect everyone to get out of their way. Dae-sung nodded. The Vrex run the Nexus Confederation because they're the toughest species, but they don't understand humans yet. The door opened, and an aide rushed in. Sir, Commander Kron has requested a formal meeting. His shuttle just landed outside. Minutes later, Kron and 2 Vrex guards marched into the room. The aliens looked around with suspicious eyes. Captain Dae-sung, Kron said, I have made a decision about Earth's place in the galaxy. The room went quiet. Dae-sung stood straight, facing the taller alien. We're listening. We Vrex do not accept new species easily into the Confederation. You must prove your worth. Hannah stepped forward. We've shared our history, science, and culture. What more proof do you need? Kron's yellow eyes narrowed. Words on screens mean nothing. Action is the only truth. He placed a metal device on the table. It projected a hologram of a harsh landscape with twisted trees and bubbling pools. This is Vrexia, our homeworld, the most dangerous known planet that supports intelligent life. Kron's voice filled with pride. I challenge you to send your best warriors to compete against mine on Vrexia's surface. Taiwan crossed his arms. What kind of competition? Survival, combat, intelligence. Kron smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. If you succeed, Earth will join the Confederation as equals. If you fail, if we fail, Dae-sung prompted, you will still join, but as a protected species. We will govern your world and restrict your space travel. For your own safety, of course. The humans exchanged looks. Dae-sung kept his face calm, but his mind raced. How many people would compete? 4 from Earth, 4 from Vrexia, including you and me, Captain. Dae-sung thought for a moment. And if we refuse this challenge? Kron's upper arms crossed over his chest. Then we leave, but spread word the humans fear challenge. Other species may visit your world with less friendly intentions. Hannah whispered to Dae-sung, this is clearly a trap. Maybe, Dae-sung whispered back, but also our chance to show them who we really are. He turned to Kron. We accept your challenge, Commander. Kron looked surprised, then pleased. Good. In 1 week, we depart for Vrexia. After the aliens left, Taiwan punched a wall. He thinks we're weak. Did you see how he looked at us? Let him think that, Dae-sung said. Sergeant, you're on the team. Dr. Ji-hai, we need your knowledge of alien biology. Sung-ho, your engineering skills will be essential. Officer Hannah frowned. They're setting you up to fail. Dae-sung nodded. Probably. But humans have survived on Earth for thousands of years. These Deathworlders have no idea what we can handle. Outside, thunder boomed as rain poured down. Through the window, they could see Commander Kron hurrying back to his shuttle, trying to avoid the harmless Earth rain that humans walk through every day. Morning came with a blood-red sunrise. Captain Dae-sung and his team stood at the edge of a massive canyon. Twisted trees with sharp leaves grew from the rocky walls. In the distance, dark clouds gathered. Commander Kron addressed both teams. The first trial is survival. You must travel through Death Valley to reach the marker 10 miles ahead. He pointed to a tall rock formation shaped like a claw. Each team carries a beacon. Use it only if you surrender. Sub-Commander Vex smirked at the humans. The canyon is home to many of Rexia's predators. They are always hungry. You have until sunset, Kron said. Begin now. The Vrex team moved quickly, climbing down the steep canyon wall with all 4 arms. The humans followed more slowly, using ropes and climbing gear. They're trying to show off, Taiwan said. Let them waste energy. At the bottom of the canyon, the air was even thicker. Strange sounds echoed off the walls. Hisses, growls, and things the humans couldn't name. Dr. Jihai knelt and examined the red soil. This isn't so different from volcanic areas on Earth. She opened her pack and took out a small device. We should test everything before we touch it. The 2 teams took different paths through the canyon. The Vrex moved fast, but the humans were careful. They watched how local insects avoided certain plants. They noticed which water pools had animals drinking from them, and which were empty. After 2 hours, dark clouds covered the sky. The temperature dropped suddenly. Storm coming, Sung-ho said, looking up. A bad one. We need shelter, Dae-sung decided. Those caves looked stable. They had just reached the cave entrance when the storm hit. Wind howled through the canyon. The journey to Vrexia took 12 Earth days. The human team stayed in a special room on the alien ship. It was hotter than they liked, and the air felt thin. Captain Dae-sung woke every morning to train with Surgeon Taiwan. They had to be ready for Vrexia's stronger gravity. Dr. Jihai studied alien plants and animals on her tablet. Engineer Sung-ho built small tools they might need on the dangerous planet. On the final day, Commander Kron visited them. He watched Dae-sung and Tae-won exercise with weights. Impressive, Kron said, for humans, but on Vrexia, even breathing will tire you. Dae-sung wiped sweat from his face. We'll manage. We shall see. Kron tilted his head. We land in 6 hours. Be ready. When the ship entered Vrexia's atmosphere, the humans gathered at a window. Below them spread a red and black world. Massive storms crawled across the surface. Mountains taller than any on Earth pierced the clouds. Oceans of dark liquid bubbled with heat. This is what they call a death world. Taiwan whispered. Looks like Arizona in summer. Dr. Jihai gave him a look. The air outside has high levels of sulfur dioxide. The water is full of acid. Still, Sung-ho said, Earth has places just as bad. Our deep oceans, Antarctica, the Sahara. The ship landed on a flat area surrounded by jagged rocks. The door opened, letting in hot, thick air that smelled like rotten eggs. The humans put on their breathing masks. Just until our lungs adjust, Dae-sung told his team. We can't look weak. They walked down the ramp onto Vrexian soil. The higher gravity pulled at their bodies, making each step harder. The hot wind pushed against them. A group of Vrex waited for them. These aliens wore less clothing than those on Earth, showing off their scaled skin and powerful muscles. They stared at the humans with yellow eyes full of curiosity and scorn. Commander Kron stepped forward. Welcome to Vrexia, the most dangerous world in the known galaxy. He pointed to 3 Vrex beside him. This is Sub-Commander Vex, who will compete. This is Senior Warrior Trax. And this is Junior Officer Krex, the youngest to ever qualify for such a challenge. Junior Officer Krex was smaller than the other Vrex, with brighter scales. He looked at the humans with more interest than contempt. Kron led them to a building made of dark metal. "This is your quarters. We made it safe for fragile species." Inside, the air was cooler and cleaner. The gravity felt more like Earth's. "These controls adjust conditions to your needs," Kron explained. "Most visitors cannot survive Vrexian conditions for more than a few minutes." Dae-sung nodded. "Thank you for your consideration." After the Vrex left, Dr. Ji-hai checked the room with her equipment. "The air outside has twice the carbon dioxide we're used to. The gravity is about 20% stronger. Can we adapt?" Dae-sung asked. Ji-hai nodded. "In time. Our bodies are good at adjusting." That night, while the humans slept, something went wrong. A loud alarm woke them. The lights flickered and went out. The cool air stopped flowing. "Environmental systems failing," a computer voice announced. Hot, thick Vrexian air poured into the room. The artificial gravity switched off, leaving them in full Vrexian gravity. Taiwan jumped up. "Is this a test or an attack? Either way, we need to handle it," Dae-sung said. He took off his sleep shirt, already soaked with sweat. "Everyone remove extra clothing. Breathe slowly." For 2 hours, they sat in the hot, heavy air. Their lungs worked harder. Their muscles ached, but they stayed calm. When the door finally opened, Commander Kron and Junior Officer Krex rushed in, wearing breathing masks. "We apologize for the system failure," Kron said quickly. Then he stopped, surprised. You are all conscious." The humans stood up, their bodies slick with sweat, but their eyes clear. "Of course," Dae-sung said. "It was uncomfortable, but not dangerous." Krex stared at them with wide eyes. 4 hours in raw Vrexian conditions. That would kill most Confederation species. Kron's face showed shock, then suspicion. He stepped closer to Dae-sung. "Perhaps," the commander said slowly, "we underestimated what it means to come from Earth." 6 months had passed since the Great Crisis. Vrexia was healing. The eternal storm had shrunk back to its normal size. The ground no longer shook. Volcanoes had returned to sleep. Captain Dae-sung stood at the window of the new Earth Embassy on Vrexia. The building was made of a mix of Earth and Vrexian materials, a symbol of the new relationship between the two worlds. "Amazing how much has changed," Officer Hannah said, joining him at the window. She had arrived with the second wave of humans who came to help. Outside, humans and Vrex worked side by side on rebuilding projects. Earth plants now grew in Vrexian soil, helping clean the toxic air. New buildings were designed to withstand the harsh conditions better than before. "The Confederation Council meets today," Hannah reminded him. "Commander Kron is introducing the new charter." Across the city in the giant dome of the Confederation Council, representatives from 300 worlds gathered. For centuries, the Vrex had led through fear and shows of strength. Today, everything would change. Commander Kron stood before them all. He looked different now, his posture still proud, but his eyes softer, wiser. "Fellow species of the galaxy," he began. 6 months ago, our world faced destruction. We, who called ourselves the strongest, could not save ourselves." The room was silent. Every eye watched him. Humanity came to our aid without hesitation. They, who we first dismissed as weak, showed us true strength. Today, we vote on a new council structure, one where Earth will take a leading role in diplomatic matters. In the medical center nearby, Taiwan was finishing his final checkup. His leg had healed well, though he would always walk with a slight limp. Junior Officer Krex, now Senior Diplomat Krex, waited for him. "The doctors say you can return to Earth next week," Krex said. Taiwan smiled. "Actually, I've decided to stay. Earth has approved my request to serve as combat training instructor here." Krex's scales brightened with pleasure. "You will teach our warriors." "Not just fighting," Taiwan clarified. "Teamwork, problem solving." How to win without unnecessary harm. Dr. Jihai had also chosen to stay on Vrexia. Her work with local plants had led to new medicines that could help both species. She had discovered that many Vrexian plants, thought to be poisonous, had healing properties when processed correctly. The problem was never the plants, she often said. It was not understanding how to use them properly. Engineer Sung Ho had returned to Earth, but his designs were now used across Vrexia. He had created new systems that worked with the planet's natural energy rather than fighting against it. At sunset, Dae Sung, Hana, Taiwan, and Jihai gathered with Krex at a lookout point above the city. The red sun painted the sky in beautiful colors. I received a message from Earth today, Dae Sung told them. The first group of young Vrex students will arrive next month for the exchange program. They're so excited, Krex said. Many young Vrex now dream of visiting Earth. It's strange, Taiwan said, watching the sunset. 6 months ago, we were competitors in a life-or-death trial. Now we're allies. I still don't fully understand, Krex admitted. Why did humans help us after we tried to harm you? Any other species would have left us to our fate. Dae Sung was quiet for a moment. On Earth, we'd faced countless disasters. Earthquakes, floods, diseases. Our history is full of wars and struggles. Like Vrexia, Krex noted. Yes, but we learned something different from it. We discovered that the strongest survive, but the strongest aren't always those with the sharpest claws or the hardest shells. What makes them strongest then? Krex asked. Those who work together. Those who help others through the storm. Dae Sung gestured to the city below, where lights were coming on as darkness fell. One person alone might die in a disaster. A community working together can survive almost anything. Across the city, the council meeting was ending. The vote was complete. Earth would now lead the Confederation's diplomatic efforts, with the Vrex focusing on defense and security. Partners, not rulers. Commander Kron stood on a balcony, watching his world transform. For the first time in his life, he felt something new. Hope. The Deathworlders begged for kindness, he whispered to himself, and in return, we learned what real strength means. Below him, in homes and schools across Vrexia, young Vrex were learning a new word from Earth. Compassion. The next morning, both teams gathered in a large arena carved into the side of a mountain. Rows of seats surrounded a dirt floor. Hundreds of Vrex had come to watch the second trial. Commander Kron stood in the middle of the arena. His voice boomed out to the crowd. Today we test strength and skill in combat. Each team member must face a juvenile Razorclaw. The one who subdues their beast fastest, without killing it, earns points for their team. From underground cages, 4 young Razorclaws were brought up. They looked like tigers mixed with lizards. Each was the size of a small car, with 6 legs ending in sharp claws. Their teeth gleamed in the red sunlight. These are juveniles, Taiwan whispered. I'd hate to see the adults. Dr. Jihai scanned the creatures with her device. Their skin is thick, but the neck and belly are softer, and they have poor eyesight. Sub-Commander Vex went first. He faced his Razorclaw with confidence, all 4 arms holding different weapons. When the beast charged, Vex leaped high, landing on its back. The Razorclaw bucked and thrashed, but Vex held on tightly. After a hard fight, he pinned the creature down by its neck. The crowd cheered. Next was To-One's turn. The human surgeon carried only a simple rope and a small shield. The human has no proper weapons. Someone shouted from the crowd. Many Vrex laughed. Taiwan ignored them. When his Razorclaw charged, he didn't try to match its strength. Instead, he moved to the side, letting it run past him. The confused creature turned for another attack. This time, Taiwan threw his shield. It spun through the air, flashing in the sunlight. The Razorclaw followed the movement with its eyes. In that moment of distraction, Taiwan ran forward and looped his rope around the creature's front legs. With a quick pull and twist, he tangled the beast's legs together. It fell hard to the ground, unable to stand. The arena went silent. Taiwan had subdued his razor claw in half the time it took Vex, using only a rope and clever thinking. Junior Officer Krex fought next, showing more speed than power. Then came Sung Ho, who used a whistle he had made that morning. The high-pitched sound confused the razor claw's sensitive ears, making it easy for him to guide the creature into a corner and trap it. The humans are not fighting properly, Vex complained to Kron. They use tricks instead of strength. The goal is to subdue, not to show off, Dae-sung replied calmly. Dr. Jihai was next. She was the smallest person in the arena, and many Vrex whispered that she would fail. But Jihai had studied the razor claws carefully. She carried a bag of strong-smelling herbs she had collected that morning. When her razor claw charged, she threw the herbs at its face. The beast stopped, sneezing violently. While it was confused, Jihai darted in and touched a specific spot on its neck. The razor claw swayed, then lay down, suddenly sleepy. Pressure points, she explained later. Their nervous system is not so different from Earth reptiles. Just as the trial was ending, a loud crash came from one of the underground cages. A massive shape burst through the metal bars. An adult razor claw, twice the size of the juveniles. It had broken free, and now charged into the arena. The crowd screamed. Vrex guards rushed forward, but the huge creature was too fast. It headed straight for Jihai, who had just finished her trial and stood in the open. Jihai, Dae-sung shouted, "Run!" But there was no time. The monster razor claw leaped toward her, jaws open wide. In that split second, the human team moved as one. Taiwan threw himself in front of Jihai with his shield raised. Sung Ho hurled his whistle device, hitting the creature's eye. Dae-sung grabbed a Vrex spear from a nearby guard and thrust it up, not to kill, but to redirect the beast's jump. The razor claw crashed to the ground beside them, roaring in pain and anger. Before it could attack again, the human team surrounded it. Working together, they used ropes, their bodies, and quick thinking to pin the massive creature down. The adult razor claw fought hard, but within minutes, the humans had it securely tied and muzzled. It lay helpless but alive. The arena was completely silent. The Vrex stared in shock. No one had ever subdued an adult razor claw without killing it. Commander Kron's voice, when he finally spoke, had a tremor in it. "The second trial is complete," he said. "The human team has won." In the stands, Junior Officer Krex looked at the humans with new eyes. For the first time, he wondered if his people, the mighty Vrex, were not the greatest warriors in the galaxy after all. Chaos ruled Vrexia. The ground would not stop shaking. Buildings fell. Cracks opened in the earth, spitting fire and toxic gas. The eternal storm had grown twice its normal size, sending deadly lightning across the land. Commander Kron gathered his people in the main bunker. His voice shook as he spoke. "The core of our planet has become unstable. Our scientists say we have less than 3 days before Vrexia tears itself apart." The Vrex looked at each other in horror. Their mighty world, the harshest in the galaxy, was dying beneath their feet. "What about the humans?" someone asked. "Where are they?" Kron's face darkened. They were last seen near the Western District, helping evacuate civilians. In that Western District, Captain Dae-sung and his team fought against time and nature. Taiwan carried 2 injured Vrex children through falling debris. Sung Ho worked to stabilize a power station that provided energy to a medical center. Jihai treated wounds with supplies from her pack. "Captain," Sung Ho called over the radio, "I've been studying the seismic data from Jihai's scanner. This isn't a random event." "What do you mean?" Dae-sung asked, helping a limping Vrex elder to safety. "The pattern of the quakes, the volcanic eruptions, the storm growth, they're all connected. Something has damaged the planet's tectonic stability at a fundamental level." Dae-sung looked up at the red sky, now filled with ash and lightning. Can it be fixed? Maybe. On Earth, we've developed techniques to relieve pressure at fault lines. But we'd need equipment and access to the main fault. Which is where? Sung Ho's voice was grim. Under the eternal storm. Junior Officer Krex found them an hour later. He was covered in dust, one arm hanging limp at his side. "The commander requests your presence," he said. "All of you." At the bunker, they found a different Kron. The proud Vrex leader looked defeated. His scales had dulled, and his normally straight posture was bent. "Humans," he said when they entered, "our world is dying. Our evacuation ships can only take a fraction of our population. The rest." He didn't finish. Dae-sung stepped forward. "Commander, Engineer Sung Ho believes there might be a way to stabilize your planet." The room went silent. Kron's head snapped up. "How?" "Our best scientists say it's impossible." Sung Ho explained his theory. "On Earth, we've had to deal with tectonic instability for centuries. We've developed methods to release pressure gradually at fault lines instead of letting it build to catastrophic levels. But the main fault is under the eternal storm," Sub-Commander Vex said. "No one can survive there." "We can," Tadwan stated simply. Dr. Jihai nodded. "The storm is dangerous, but no worse than some of Earth's biggest hurricanes. With proper preparation, we could reach the fault. Once there," Sung Ho continued, "we can use controlled detonations to release the pressure in small, manageable bursts." "You would do this?" Kron asked, his voice barely audible. After I tried to." He couldn't finish. "Yes," Dae-sung said firmly. "We would." "Why?" "Because that's what humans do. We help those in need." For the first time in recorded history, a Vrex bowed to another species. Commander Kron bent his body low before Captain Dae-sung. "Humans of Earth," he said formally, "I beg you to show kindness to Vrexia." Within hours, the plan was in motion. The humans would lead a team to the fault line under the eternal storm. Jihai worked with Vrexian scientists to create protective suits. Sung Ho designed special drilling equipment with help from Vrexian engineers. As they prepared to leave, Kron approached Dae-sung privately. "I must know," he said. "I tried to kill your team. I set you up to fail. Why would you risk your lives to save us?" Dae-sung checked his equipment before answering. "On Earth, we live with disasters every day. Earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, fires. We've learned that survival isn't about being the strongest." "Then what is it about?" "Working together, helping each other. Even those who might be enemies today could be allies tomorrow." Outside, the ground shook again. A distant building collapsed. "Time to go," Ta-One called. Dae-sung looked at Kron one last time. "We come from a world that tried to kill us every day, Commander. But instead of becoming cruel, we learned to be kind. That's our real strength." The human team stepped out into the raging storm, ready to save a world that had tried to destroy them. The eternal storm raged around them. Wind stronger than any hurricane on Earth pushed against their bodies. Lightning struck the ground every few seconds. The air was thick with toxic gas and dust. Captain Dae-sung led his team through this hell. They wore modified Vrexian protective suits, but even these were barely enough. Behind them came Junior Officer Krex and two Vrexian scientists who had volunteered for the mission. "We're getting close to the fault line," Sung Ho shouted over the noise of the storm. He checked the scanner in his hand. "Half a mile ahead." Ta-One pointed to a massive crack in the ground. "That looks like our target." They fought their way forward step by step. Twice, the wind nearly threw them off their feet. Once, lightning struck so close that Jihai's scanner stopped working for several minutes. Finally, they reached the edge of the crack. It was wider than a highway and so deep they couldn't see the bottom. Heat and toxic fumes rose from it. "This is it," Sung Ho confirmed. "The main fault line. The pressure is building up right below us." They set up their equipment quickly. Somehow had designed special devices that would drill into specific points along the fault and then deploy small, controlled explosions. These would release pressure in small bursts rather than letting it build up to one catastrophic release. "How long will this take?" Krex asked, nervously watching the storm grow even stronger around them. "Hours," Sung-Ho answered honestly. "Maybe too long." Back at the main bunker, Commander Kron paced anxiously. The screens showed the eternal storm growing larger by the minute. Seismic activity was increasing across the planet. "It won't make it back in time," Sub-Commander Vex said quietly. "Then we must help them," Kron decided. He turned to the communication officer. "Contact the Confederation fleet. Tell them we need the humans." The officer looked shocked. "Sir." "Do it," Kron ordered. Then, more quietly, "Tell them we need Earth's help." The message went out across space. Within hours, the first Confederation ships arrived in Vrexia's orbit. They were surprised to receive a transmission not from Commander Kron, but from all Vrexian leaders together. On screens across the galaxy, the mighty Vrex, who had never asked for help from anyone, formally begged for humanity's assistance. "People of Earth," Commander Kron's voice rang out, his head bowed low in the traditional Vrexian gesture of total submission. "We, the Vrex, who have claimed to be the strongest species in the galaxy, humbly beg for your mercy and aid. Our world is dying. Your people alone have the knowledge to save it." The transmission went to Earth, where humans watched in amazement. Within hours, ships were launching. Scientists, engineers, medical teams, all volunteering to help. Meanwhile, at the fault line, the human team worked without rest. The first controlled explosions were successful, relieving pressure in small amounts. But the storm was growing worse. "The planet is starting to stabilize," Sung-Ho reported, "but the storm is feeding on the energy release. It's becoming more dangerous." A massive lightning strike hit nearby, collapsing part of the ground. Taiwan was caught in the falling rock, his leg trapped and badly injured. "Get him out of here," Dae-Sung ordered Krex and the scientists. "Take him back to the bunker." "What about you?" Krex asked. "We'll finish the job," Dae-Sung said firmly. "Go." As Krex helped carry Taiwan away, Ji-Hai worked frantically to stabilize his injuries. "Stay with us, Sergeant," she said, injecting medicine into his suit. "Did it work?" Taiwan asked weakly. "Did we save them?" "We're trying," Ji-Hai assured him. Back at the fault, Dae-Sung and Sung-Ho set the final charges. The ground was shaking violently now. The storm had reached unprecedented strength. "We won't make it back in time," Sung-Ho said, securing the last device. Dae-Sung nodded. "I know, but we can still trigger the final sequence." As they prepared to activate the devices, a bright light cut through the storm above them. Looking up, they saw ships, dozens of them, breaking through the clouds. Earth ships, coming to help. A voice crackled over their radio. "Captain Dae-Sung, this is Earth Rescue Fleet. Hold on, we're coming for you." In the main bunker, Commander Kron watched the screens as human ships arrived by the dozens. He had never seen such a rapid response to a crisis. "They came," he whispered. "They actually came to help us." "Of course they did," Junior Officer Krex said, helping the medical team with Taiwan. "That's what humans do." That night, Commander Kron paced in his private chamber. The walls were decorated with the skulls of creatures he had killed. But tonight, they did not make him feel proud. "The humans are winning," he hissed to Sub-Commander Vex. "They should not be able to survive our world, let alone excel at our trials." Vex nodded. "They are strange. They do not fight like warriors, yet they succeed. If they win the final trial, everything will change," Kron said. "The Confederation will question our leadership. We cannot allow this." "What do you suggest, Commander?" Kron stopped pacing. His yellow eyes narrowed. "The final trial must be adjusted." In another part of the base, Junior Officer Krex walked slowly past the humans' quarters. He heard laughter inside. Curious, he stopped to listen. "Did you see their faces when we tied up that big Razor Claw?" Todd One was saying. They couldn't believe it. "We got lucky," Dae Sung replied. "If we hadn't worked together, Jae-hai might be dead." "Speaking of luck," Sung Ho said, "has anyone noticed how the trials seem designed to kill us?" The room went quiet. Krex leaned closer to the door. "The environmental failure, the acid storm that came out of nowhere, the escaped adult Razor Claw," Jae-hai listed. "It's too many accidents." "Commander Kron doesn't want us to succeed," Dae Sung said. "But we're here to represent Earth. We keep going." Krex felt strange. These humans knew they were being set up to fail, yet they continued. They had even helped his team during the storm. This was not how enemies behaved. The next morning, Commander Kron announced the final trial. "You will travel to the eternal storm at our planet's equator. There, you must retrieve a rare crystal that grows only in the heart of the storm." Dae Sung frowned. "The eternal storm. Your briefing materials said that area was too dangerous for any life." "Exactly," Kron smiled. "It is the ultimate test of a species' strength. No one has ever returned with the crystal." Junior Officer Krex stepped forward. "Commander, with respect, the eternal storm is forbidden territory. Even our greatest warriors." "Silence," Kron snapped. "The decision is made. Both teams depart in 1 hour." As the humans prepared their gear, Krex slipped into their room. "Captain Dae Sung," he said quietly, "I must warn you. The eternal storm is not just a trial. No one is meant to return from there." Dae Sung looked at the young Vrex. "You're risking a lot to tell us this." Krex's scales shifted colors slightly. "You helped my team in the acid storm. You fought with honor. This is not honorable." "Thank you," Dae Sung said, "but we still have to go. We can't forfeit." "Then at least take this." Krex handed him a small device. "It shows safe passages through the storm area. It's not much, but—" An alarm suddenly blared throughout the base. The floor shook violently, throwing them all off balance. "What's happening?" Ta One shouted over the noise. A Vrex voice came over the speakers. "Emergency. Massive geological disturbance detected. All personnel to shelter positions." They ran outside. The ground was cracking. In the distance, a volcano that had been dormant for centuries was spewing ash and fire into the sky. The eternal storm, visible on the horizon, was growing larger, swirling with unnatural speed. "The planet's tectonic stability is collapsing," Jae-hai said, checking her scanner. "These readings are off the charts." Vrex ran in all directions, trying to reach safety bunkers. Commander Kron stood in the center of the chaos, shouting orders that no one could hear over the rumbling earth. A tall building cracked down the middle. It began to topple toward a group of Vrex civilians. "Those people are trapped," Sung Ho pointed. Without hesitation, Dae Sung and his team ran toward the danger. Taiwan reached the Vrex first, pushing them out of the way as chunks of metal and stone fell around them. "This whole area is becoming unstable," Jae-hai shouted. "The underground magma chambers are shifting." A new alarm sounded. This one was deeper, more urgent. "Planetary distress signal," Krex explained, his voice shaking. It means Vrexia itself is in danger." Commander Kron stared at the humans who were helping his people escape the falling building. His plan to eliminate them in the eternal storm was forgotten as a new realization dawned on him. Vrexia was dying, and these strange aliens from Earth might be the only ones who could save it. The sky above Seoul turned strange that Tuesday morning. Clouds swirled in unnatural patterns as a massive ship broke through Earth's atmosphere. It was smooth and gray, shaped like a giant arrowhead. Captain Dae Sung stood tall on the landing pad, his blue uniform crisped despite the wind. Next to him, Officer Hannah checked her tablet one last time. "Are you ready?" Dae Sung asked. Hannah nodded. as ready as anyone can be for first contact with aliens. The world had been in chaos since the alien ship appeared 3 days ago. It had parked itself in orbit and sent a simple message: "We come to meet the dominant species of Earth." Now, a smaller shuttle descended from the mothership. It landed with barely a sound on the concrete pad. Steam hissed from its sides as a door slid open. 3 figures walked out. They were tall, taller than any human, with scaly skin that shimmered between purple and green. Their bodies were muscular, with 4 arms ending in clawed hands. Yellow eyes with vertical pupils surveyed the humans. The one in front wore a metal chest plate with strange symbols. It stepped forward, towering over Dae-Sung. "I am Commander Kron of the Vrex, representatives of the Nexus Confederation." The alien's voice was deep, with a clicking undertone. "We rule over 300 worlds across this arm of the galaxy." Dae-Sung bowed slightly. "I am Captain Dae-Sung of Earth's Unified Space Force. This is Officer Hana, our diplomatic liaison. We welcome you to Earth." Commander Kron's head tilted. "Your atmosphere is thick with oxygen. Your gravity is impressive. Your world has extreme temperature ranges and countless bacteria." The alien's upper arms crossed. "These are the marks of what we call a death world." "A death world?" Hannah asked. "Yes, most intelligent life evolves on garden worlds, places with stable climates, moderate gravity, and few natural threats." Kron gestured to the 2 aliens behind him. "We Vrex are different. We evolved on Vrexia, the harshest known world to produce intelligent life. Until now." The alien reached out and picked up a rock from the ground. He crushed it easily in his hand. "We are stronger, faster, and more resilient than any species in the Confederation. It is why we lead them." Dae-Sung noticed how the alien's chest puffed out with pride. "We are curious about your species," Kron continued. "To evolve on a world like this, you must be formidable indeed." Hannah stepped forward. "We would be happy to show you our civilization. Perhaps you would like to visit our city, or meet with our leaders." Kron laughed. A strange, hissing sound. "Yes, we wish to see if you are worthy of joining the Confederation." The meeting moved to a conference room inside a nearby government building. The aliens sat awkwardly in human chairs, their tails hanging through the gap in the back. Dae-Sung noticed that the room temperature, normal for humans, seemed to make the aliens uncomfortable. They kept rubbing their arms. "Is the room too cold?" he asked. Commander Kron's head snapped up. "We are Vrex warriors. We do not complain about minor discomforts." Hana adjusted the thermostat anyway. "Please, tell us more about your confederation." As Kron spoke about the alliance of planets they ruled, a staff member entered with cups of hot tea. The human gave one to each person in the room. When Dae-Sung sipped his tea without thinking, Kron's yellow eyes widened. "You drink boiling water." Dae-Sung looked confused. "It's not boiling. It's just hot tea." One of the other aliens whispered something to Kron, who frowned. "Your bodies can process liquid at temperatures that would burn most species," Kron said slowly. "Interesting." Kron picked up his own cup carefully with a clawed hand. He sniffed it, then put it down. "You say you are a peaceful species, yet you casually consume what would kill others." The commander stood up suddenly. "I think we need to learn more about humans before we decide your place in the galaxy." Dae-Sung and Hannah exchanged worried glances. "We look forward to learning more about you too," Dae-Sung said carefully. "Yes," Kron replied, all 4 hands clenching and unclenching. "I'm sure we will discover many surprises about each other in the days to come." Outside the window, the massive alien mothership cast a shadow over Seoul. The first contact had been made, but it was clear that the real test was just beginning.